Hello everyone and welcome to your Year 11 English class. Today we're going to be continuing with Unit 9. Now, in the last episode we looked at a few vocabulary items and some of the unit content, as well as a few of the possible setbook questions that you may have. In this lesson we are going to be looking at the grammar that this unit has to offer. Now, what I want you to do is to have your workbook ready, and I want you to have a pen and paper, okay? So you can write down what I have to say, because this unit is very important and you do need to listen and you do need to know how to do the grammar that I am about to show you in this episode. So are you ready? Let's go. So this unit talks to us about the passive voice. Now, what is the passive voice? Now, first of all, you need to understand that there are a few types of sentences. One of these types of sentences are the active sentences. And an active sentence has a subject, a verb, and an object. Now, the passive sentence, or in the passive sentence, what we do is we bring the object in front. And the subject is not given that much importance. In a passive sentence, it is not important who did the verb, but it is important what happened, like who received that verb. So a passive sentence is used to emphasize information we think that is important. We make an active sentence passive by adding verb to be first, and then we add the past participle of the verb. This change depends on the tense of the sentence. So if you remember, sentences have tenses, the grammatical tenses. So we have present simple, present continuous, past simple, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, and the future. We are going to be looking at each one. In an active sentence, it has, like I said, a subject, a verb, an object. So for example, the cat ate the food. The cat is the subject, ate is the verb, and the food is the object. Now, in a passive sentence, the object comes first. And then we put the correct form of verb to be, and then after that we put the verb in the past participle. And then we complete the sentence. So, if you can look at the example, the food was eaten. So, in the first sentence, the food was the object. We put it at the beginning. We put verb to be, which is was, here. Why did we put was? Because it's in the past simple. You're going to look at it now. And then the verb, which is eat, turned into the past participle, which is eaten. The cat is removed from the sentence. I don't need to know. I just need to know what happened. The food was eaten. That's it. Now, to change a sentence from active into passive, if you can look at the table right in front of you, I want you to screenshot it or to make a note of it, because it's very important. First, what we need to do is we need to identify the subject, the verb, the object. So look at the sentence, see where the subject, where's the verb, and where's the object. Then what I want you to do is to determine the tense of the verb. So you need to know what tense the verb is in. Is it in the present simple? Is it in the past simple? Is it in the future? Okay? Then we start to change the sentence into a passive. First we put the object. Okay? After that we put the correct form of verb to be. This form changes according to the tense. Okay? You're going to look at it now. Then after verb to be, we put the past participle of the verb. Okay? So the main verb is turned into a past participle. So with the present simple, first, the verb to be is or are. And then comes the verb in the past participle. For the past simple, it is was or were. And then comes the verb in the past participle. For the present continuous, it is or are. And then we put the word being, and then comes the verb in the past participle. With the past continuous, it is was or were, and then the word being, and then comes the verb in the past participle. With the present perfect, it is have or has, plus been, then the verb in the past participle. With the past perfect, it is had, plus been, plus the verb in the past participle. With the future, it is will, and then be, and then the verb comes in the past participle, and then you put the rest of the sentence. I know it is a lot of information, but when you have this table right in front of you, like I said, screenshot this table right now so that when I am explaining, I want you to look at it and you're going to understand it even better. Okay? So let's look at a few examples. With the simple present, we clean the house every day. So what did we say? First we need to identify the subject, the verb, the object. So let's do that. The subject is we, the verb is clean, and the house is the object. Then what do we need to do? Very good. I need to start with the object first. Excellent. Very good answer. Which is the house. Then what do I need to do? Look at the table. Very good. I need to add is or are because it is a present simple sentence. So what do I add? Is or are? Very good. I add is. Why do I add is? Because the house is singular. Very good. And then what do I add? I add the verb in the past participle. So clean becomes cleaned. And then I add the rest of the sentence every day. So the sentence becomes the house is cleaned every day. Excellent. Let's look at the next sentence in the present continuous. We are cleaning the house. Same thing. We need to determine where's the subject, the verb, and the object. Where's the subject? We. Very good. Where's the verb? Are cleaning. Excellent. Where's the object? The house. Very good. What do we start with? The house. Very good. So we start with the house. And then what do we do? So the sentence is in the present continuous. Is or are plus being plus the verb in the past participle. So the house is or are? Is. Very good. And then what do we put? Being. Excellent. And then what do we put? The verb in the past participle, which is cleaning. We need to change it into cleaned. And then we add the rest of the sentence. And the answer is, the house is being cleaned at the moment. Simple, right? If you have that table, it's going to be simple. This is why I asked you to screenshot it and have it next to you. Okay? Let's look at another example. Let's look at the other example. So it's a simple past sentence. We cleaned the house yesterday. What do we do? You tell me. I want you to tell me. Very good. Identify the subject, the verb, the object. The subject is we. Cleaned is the verb. And the house is the object. Then what do I do? Do I start with the subject? No. Very good. I start with the object, which is the house. Excellent. Very good. Then what do I do? I add the correct form of verb to be. So if it's in the simple past, what do I add? Was or were. The house is singular, so what do I add? Was. Very good. So I put was. And then what do? I put the verb in the past participle. So cleaned stays as it is. Cleaned. And then I add the rest of the sentence. This is it. So the answer is, the house was cleaned yesterday. Simple. You just need to practice. Look at the other example. We were cleaning the house yesterday. You tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. You tell me what to do. Identify the subject, the verb, the object. Very good. We is the subject. Were cleaning is the verb. And the house is the object. Now what do? I start with the house. Very good. So I start with the house. Then what do? I add the correct form of verb to be. The house, singular or plural? Singular, right? What do? Was or were? Was. Very good. And then what do? I add being. Excellent. And then what do? I change the verb into the past participle. Cleaning becomes cleaned. And then I put the rest of the sentence. So the answer is, the house was being cleaned yesterday. Simple. Use the formula above. So you can use that. Let's look at the next question. They have just cleaned the house. They have just cleaned the house. Again, tell me what to do. I don't know. You tell me. I identified the subject, the verb, the object. Very good. The subject is they. The verb is have just cleaned. And then the object is the house. Now what do? I start with the object or I start with the subject? Object, are you sure? Very good, excellent. So I start with the house. Now what do? I need to put either have or has. Why? Because the verb is in the present simple. So what do I put? Have or has? The house. Has. Very good. And then what do? I put just. Very good. And then what do? Been. Excellent. So it's have or has plus been plus the verb in the past participle. So cleaned stays as it is. Right? Because it is already in the past participle, because the present perfect has the verb in the past participle. So you can use it. Right? So the rest of the sentence, or the answer is, the house has just been cleaned. That's it. Let's look at the next one. The past perfect. I had cleaned the house before. I had cleaned the house before. See, the present perfect and the past perfect are very easy. Why? Because they already have the verb in the past participle. So you can just use it. You just need to change a few things here and there or add something. That's it. Tell me, what do? How do I change this sentence into the passive voice? I choose the subject, the verb, the object. I identify them, right? Are you sure? Very good, excellent. So I is the subject, had cleaned is the verb, the house is the object. Now what do? I start with the house. Very good. I started with the house. Then what do? It's in the past perfect. Go back to that table, the screenshot that I asked you to take. What do? I add had. Very good. That's it. And then what do? Been. Very good. Excellent. And then what do? I put the verb in the past participle, which is cleaned. It's exactly the same. So if you notice, the only thing that we've changed is we've put the house at the beginning and we add the word been between had and cleaned. That's it. It is as simple as that. I know that it's probably a lot of tenses to work with, but again, if you repeat this episode more than once, I am 100% sure and I'm 100% confident that you guys will be able to get it. The answer is, of course, the house had been cleaned before you arrived. Excellent? Very good. Let's look at the last one, which is the future will. He will clean the house at night. What do? Subject, verb, object. Very good. Where's the subject? He. Where's the verb? Will clean. Where's the object? The house. Now what do? I start with the object, the house. Then what do? Will. Why do we put will? Because this is in the future. Very good. So we put will. Then what do? We put be. Excellent. And then what do? The verb becomes the past participle. Clean becomes cleaned. Excellent. At night, you put the rest of the sentence. That's it. The answer is the house will be cleaned at night. Is that good? So did you get it? Yeah? Go back to it. Look at it more than once so that you can grasp the idea of how to change a sentence from active into passive. Let's look at a few exercises and a few questions. So look at this multiple choice question. This problem, space, by your father yesterday. So we have the word yesterday. So we are looking at a sentence in the present. No, it's in the past. The only one that's in the past here is was solved. Excellent. Very good. Let's look at question number 2. Many things, space, in this house. Let's look at the answers that we have. We have say, is said, are said. So we know that we need to change the sentence into passive, correct? So why don't we play a game of elimination? Let's eliminate the answers that cannot be right. So we eliminate A and C. So we're looking at is said and are said. Many things, it's plural. So what do I choose? Are said. Very good, excellent. Let's look at question number 3. The contract, space, by the new employee lately. The contract. By the new employee lately. So we have the word lately. So what is it? What do we choose? Has been signed. Very good. Excellent. Now, what I want you to do is this do as shown question. Okay? So our neighbor gave me a lift. We need to change it into passive. Exactly the same. Choose the subject, choose the verb, choose the object. And then we start with the object. Right? And then we put verb to be, and then we put the past participle of the verb, and then comes the subject. So the answer is, a lift was given to me. That's it. Let's look at question number 2. Someone is building a hut on that hill. Someone, subject, is building, the verb, a hut, object. What do I start with? A hut. And then I put the correct form of verb to be, and then the verb in the past participle. So what does the answer, what is the answer? A hut is being built on that hill. Very good, excellent. Question number 3, they will award Salim with a scholarship. So what's the answer? A scholarship will be awarded to Salim. Very good. What I want you to do is to do exercise 6 on page number 70 in your workbook. It is all about passive and changing the verbs into passive. Now let's look at the prepositions of time and place. This is your second grammatical thing that you need to know. Prepositions are short words that connect nouns, pronouns, and phrases to other words in the sentence. They can express time, they can express place, they can express how the action is happening, and you have 2 prepositions that you need to know. Prepositions of time and prepositions of place. Okay, so let's look at the prepositions of time first. I'm going to go over them very quickly because you already know them. I have in, on, at, and by. In, I use them with months and seasons and years. So I am traveling to Dubai in July. On, I use with the morning or the evening, the afternoon, or during the days. So for example, I have breakfast, so for example, I can say, I start my new job on Saturday. At, I can use with at night, particular time, or weekend. So I can say, for example, I ate dinner at night. By, I can say, it is used to say no later than or before a specific time. So I can say, for example, Ahmed promised to be here by 5 o'clock. So he's going to be here by 5 o'clock. Okay? Other prepositions are from, until, or till, and to, or for. Okay? So for example, with from, I can say, the shop is open from 9 o'clock. Okay? Until, till, or to, they are all the same. So I can say, for example, the show starts from 4 p.m. until 5, for example. For, I use for the amount of time or the amount of years or months. So for example, I say, I have been teaching English for 4 years. So I gave an amount of time. Okay? Let's look at the prepositions of place. So I have in, on, at, and to. Okay, so I can say, for example, I am watching TV in the living room. I can say the table or the book is on the table. I can say I eat dinner at night. Or I can say, for example, I am going to the avenues. Let's look at a few grammatical exercises. Salim arrived to school, space, 8 o'clock. I have time. What do I put? At. Very good, excellent. What about question number 2? I have been looking for it, space, February. Since February, very good. What about number 3? She has been working here, space, 1 year. 1 year. For 1 year, very good. Let's look at the functions. So with the functions, like we said before, answer anything that is reasonable, grammatical, and makes sense. So let's look at this example. Your friend asked you about your opinion, whether he buys a digital camera or not. What will you say? It seems to me that your phone's camera does the work for you. You don't need a professional camera. You gave him your opinion. Let's look at the other one. Your brother thinks that movies are recorded with digital cameras are better. Do you agree or not? If you agree, you can say, for example, I basically disagree with the idea because the cast and crew work hard for the movies to succeed. In summary, what we looked at was the passive voice, prepositions of time and place, and a few language functions. I hope you benefited from this episode. Repeat this episode more than once to grasp the idea, and I will see you next time.